like, and a $2 million loan and a $4 million loan and a $6 million loan. It's like, hello, look at the documents.
Sure.
So one lady, the NBC news analyst, who is my life savior, guardian angel. So she's like a lawyer, former prosecutor who also is PR. And she's like, I'm going to save you. Fuck this. I'm saving you.
Okay.
And her husband does probate law and da-da-da. It's all great. So in the last few days, it's been really good because once that's gone, I can actually function like a human.
Okay.
Which will take away a lot of my neuroses. But what I don't like is I've only enjoyed 5 years of Reputation that was any good. And the first 3 years of Whole, where I was autonomous and not attached to Kurt, were great because that was my thing and I did that. And Eric helped and Jill helped and Caroline helped. But, it was my master plan. And then when I was a movie star, I enjoyed about 2-3 years of a good reputation. And, reputation is all you have. So that's why I'm really pissed with VH1 for not, or actually I'm more pissed with someone at my management for not following through with my notes.
Okay.
For using that as a vehicle. There's Gwyneth on, saying she's really funny, or there's Baz Luhrmann saying she came second for Moulin Rouge, and this is all on camera.
Right.
So they could have used all these clips.
But they didn't.
They're lazy.
Yeah.
And the journalists, like the journalists who followed up on the Twitter army.
Right.
I told the 18-year-old girl that's the smartest of them in BC, her name's @JessicaMarquis on Twitter, and like MarQuise, and she's got the real money stuff. Like she can dig through these scans and get the biggest money stuff. But she's in BC and she's a genius. She's able to take my run-on sentence that is 100,000 words and take it
and make it
to
work.
1,000 words and make it work. But she was talking to someone in Seattle, and this happened when I went to court 37 times. Do you know why I went to court? None of you know why I went to court. I was never convicted of anything, ever. I don't know how to drive, so I certainly wasn't driving down the PCH with a kilo and a gun. I've never had a gun, nor have I ever had a kilo. I had a Xanax and a Vicodin, and I had prescriptions for them. Now, I was obviously on other things, but they never caught me. So I went to court 37 times, was never convicted, records expunged, like Kafka. It was crazy. And so the minute you get taken to a loony bin, then you get called crazy after that. And that I don't like. Because, I went to my shrink, and then my other shrink, and then my other shrink, because I've been shrinking since I was 4. And the latest shrink, I'm like, am I bipolar? And he goes, no. And I'm like, ish? He goes, sometimes.
Wasn't that the whole definition of bipolar?
No, because the only time I'm bipolar-ish is about dude things.
I see.
All right.
Well, let me go back to...
So I channel that into songs.
Let me go back to your acting. Somebody wanted to know, and I've got a list of names here, but they wanted to know, basically, because some folks sent in questions, and I believe it was... Oh, forget it. The question is, are you going to go back into acting?
Yes. And that was...
Who do you want to portray?
I'm not going to let VH1 air that again, because I'm a producer on it until they make those changes.
Right.
Until they have Quentin, until they have Baz Luhrmann, until they have more from Milos, until they have Spike, until they have... I'm really good friends with a lot of directors who've said a lot of great things about me. So, there was a thing where Cameron Crowe was like, Carol Lombard and Best Eyes and Betty Davis, whatever. I'm not going to toot my own horn. They did it for me. So, the first reel's fine, but they need to do 2 weeks of work. I don't give a shit what the ratings are. So the point is, it should have a mission. It should talk about that this record's been quite successful. It should not have me with not great hair. It should show really good pictures instead of the time I got trout mouth and had to get my lips undone.
There were some unattractive pictures.
Yeah, there was more than there were attractive. And what's weird is, with the Reputation Defenders for 50 grand, put a Google page. That's for 10 Google pages, do the math. Yeah. Okay, so I was in a salon looking for hairstyles, and I looked at pictures of myself, and I swear to God, I didn't see a pretty picture for 10 pages, and I have, for every ugly picture, 10 pretty pictures. Yeah. So, I've done Vogue covers, lots.
Sure.
So, it's and recently. So it is just, with the internet, I think that the poop rises to the top.
Yeah,
always.
That's
with
what
all
people
of
want to
us,
see.
with everyone in this room. If you Google yourself, the worst thing that you've said on Facebook or your ugliest picture, that's what people want to look at. So, my first picture that won't go away, and it's a Spanish site, so it's not about hits, is where they actually, now you've heard about them putting cellulite and photoshopping stuff. They photoshopped herpes sores on me. I have no STDs. I got crabs from a Brazilian girl once when I was stripping because I slept in the bed, and put the stuff. I was 18, but no STDs. So they put herpes sores in my mouth. And then Miko Dragon, he let me leave the hotel with spooky Marilyn Manson contacts. Okay, that's picture one. Picture two, and this never changes. Half Britney's face, half mine.
What? How do you? And that leads to another question.
And they're like grotesque.
How do you respond to these things? I
mean, the problem is that when dude Googles me and he's like, dude,
and you're like, dude.
Okay, dude,
yeah.
I'm not that. And dude's like, yeah, but I'm me, and you're you, but why aren't you there? So all of us in this room have become our Google, and that is why there's hundreds of these reputation hawk, reputation defender. Some people pay $14.95 so their LinkedIn looks good, which is like MySpace for people with money or something.
Yeah, but I don't get that one either. That was boring. I looked at it once and I was like,
NBC connections. It's so important, and so I have this strategy reading this trashy novel for fixing my reputation, which does not involve reel two of Behind the Music. And so I don't care how much ratings you got last night.
What's the name of this book, by the way?
Which book?
The one that you're reading. This
it's called novel. Original Sin.
Okay, now we all know.
And it's trashy.
It's trashy and it's delightful.
It's by Tasmia Darcy, which is obviously a nom de plume. But it's crap.
Okay. Now, one of the other questions that we had was, in your opinion, why do you see more women in pop music than you do in rock music?
Well, probably because of me. I mean, not to sound too grandiose, but I mean, I get vilified. I get picked on economically and socially and everything else. I'm not really a great model for what could happen to you if you were to go into rock and roll. So a lot of the chicks that I see that normally would be in bands are in fine art, where there's a lot of money right now. They're in extreme sports, the drummers, and they're sculptresses, they're painters. They're in extreme sports, or they're sometimes in fashion.
Yeah.
And these are chicks that rock, but they don't pick up instruments and learn, because what are they going to do? Get crucified?
I was going to say, so you feel like it's an intimidation factor.
Yeah.
You just don't want to deal with it.
I wake up every morning and I'm not really afraid of any competition.
Right.
I really am the last bitch standing. And so, Rilo Kiley doesn't, yay. I mean, Brody Dahl, I asked her to sing on a song, and I thought for a second, because I took her out when she was blonde in Australia, I thought distillers were like, yeah, everyone's like,
she's awesome.
She's awesome. And she sings like you. I'm like, no, she doesn't. You just haven't heard a chick sing rock. And I really listened to her one time. No. Come on. Plus, she once stole a guitar from me in Australia. But I asked her to come sing on this song, Samantha, and she was in the Valley, and she wasn't, she had a babysitter that night. And it ended up Mariah Carey trying to sing People Like You, F People Like Me. Oh, no, I went to my friend Brett's house. He was making a Mariah video. Beyond, so surreal. Okay. LA's weird, but Brody wouldn't come over. She's sort of really happy being Mrs. Josh O'May, I think.
Yeah, and that's where she's good.
And in the rock and roll sweepstakes, I am interested in playing with them crooked vultures and kicking their ass. You know what I mean? That's what I care about. I care about, if I'm going to play rock, I want to, play. I've had the White Stripes open for me twice, and that's the way I think it should stay.
Good. You have your goals. You have them set. Now, we have some people here in the room.
Get the ass akimbo. That's one.
And you guys all want to chit-chat with Courtney, right?